Welcome to Thanks Academy, the podcast where we watch all the best picture winners of all time in random order with random friends. And today's random friend is Danny Goodwin.
Yo.
Rolling in from the streets.
Yeah.
The mean streets of Austin.
Absolutely.
What are we going to watch today?
We are watching Chicago, directed by Rob Marshall.
Oh, no. Somebody did research.
Oh, I did some research, yeah.
No, you're not supposed to do research. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I'm like vaguely familiar with the film.
But you have not seen it.
I've never watched it, though.
I have.
Yeah.
So we're even now.
Okay.
You did some research and haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I did not, but I saw it when it came out 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever
like
it is. Yeah. And I've seen the musical, and I've listened to the musical a bunch of times, so I'm very familiar with the story.
How old's the musical?
That's a good question. I never thought about when it first appeared on Broadway. I want to say 90s, but I honestly have no idea. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, what did you learn in your studies?
I've just known for a while that it's like someone murders someone, and they're singing about it. Mm-hmm. And I've heard some of the songs from it. I think just specifically, is the name of the song All That Jazz?
Oh, yeah, that's in here, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that one.
Yeah.
And I know Catherine Zeta-Jones sings it.
Yeah.
And that's, honestly, I saw the cast too. So, I knew Richard Gere and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renee Zellweger were in it.
Yeah.
But then I guess I didn't realize John C. Reilly's going to be in it, too.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yes, in his very fresh-faced face. I mean, as fresh as his face ever gets.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's exciting that Renee Zellweger's going to sing. I believe Richard Gere sings. I don't know if John C. Reilly does.
Okay.
But this is kind of... Remember when Les Mis came out?
The
a couple
movie?
Years ago?
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody went to see it just to see what it sounds like when Anne Hathaway sings.
And she was... I thought she was pretty good at singing.
Yeah.
I mean, not Russell Crowe bad.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Russell Crowe sucked at that too. Yeah.
My friend pointed. There's something that bugged me about that movie. I thought it was well made and well put together, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then my coworker pointed out one time, and it just summed it up so well that the reason that play everyone's singing everything is because that expresses the emotion of the character in ways that film can capture body language, and you see what I mean? So it's just there's no subtlety when you see all the body language, and then they're also singing on top of it.
Well, that's interesting and that's true. I mean, that's one of the reasons musicals work live,
right,
in a way that's kind of different than on movies. But movie musicals are long tradition, and it feels like half the best picture winners we have to watch for this are musicals.
Right. So I guess more what I meant was not necessarily songs as much as it is everything's a song. Right.
The whole thing, it's an opera.
Exactly.
And this is more of a traditional, I think there's 6 songs in it, kind of musical, Disney style.
Yeah.
Musical. But I do think about that too, when you're translating when you're translating a play to film, you have to do something to spice it up because people start to notice that it all takes place in one room with 3 people.
Right, exactly.
I think that's the same with musicals. If they don't add some crazy dancing that you would never see the intricacy of from the stage or from the audience on stage, or add some weird camera angles. That's why movie musicals usually have some of the coolest cinematography. You know, you think of the best... most iconic shots in cinema, and of course Singing in the Rain's going to come up, and West Side Story's going to come up, and it's because they're trying to add something to the experience of the music.
Yeah.
Les Mis did not.
Right.
There was nothing iconic.
Yeah, it was just...
that anybody took away from it other than Russell Crowe sucking.
Yep.
And Anne Hathaway cutting all her hair off.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman being good at musicals.
Yeah,
should have known.
You were right.
Yeah. So this one... As far as I remember, it was costuming. I remember it looking sexy as hell. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to seeing the costumes again. And then it was just that stunt casting like Les Mis, where it was 3 people you wouldn't expect to see singing. Let's see how that turns out.
And I remember it being... I didn't check to see which other movies were nominated. I remember that being one of those crash Best Pictures where people are like, what the fuck? How did that win the big one?
Yeah, I'm going to look that up real fast. So, let's see.
It must, maybe one of the Lord of the Rings, so like the Two Towers or something like that. I think was one of the other ones.
No, those were those later?
It was definitely around the same time.
Around the same time?
But I don't know if that one got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, because only the third Lord of the Rings won.
Yeah. But the question I wanted to bring up, and maybe it makes more sense after the movie, but I don't want to forget it, so maybe we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think that this genre, musicals, and I think I really noticed this with like La La Land, that it's so, at this point, such an antiquated thing in movies that it needs to be nostalgic. Could there be a musical that makes sense in this day and age that doesn't feel like they're taking from the 50s or anything like that? And I guess the Broadway example would be Hamilton, right?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure that's being talked about as a film, but...
Right, and that's ironic because... all the best musicals or all the biggest grossing musicals on Broadway right now are remakes of movies.
They
keep doing that move ever since.
Right. Aladdin's big right now.
Yeah, ever since the Disney thing sort of kicked that off, and they've done one, and then like the Full Monty was a big one, and then they started. If you look at like what's playing on Broadway, half of them are going to be movies. And
interesting. In
kind of obscure ways too.
Yeah. School of Rock is one of them as well. Annie Get Your Gun didn't win Best Picture, did it? There's no way. The more I'm thinking about that movie. That movie was just...
the old one?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
It's got great music, but the ending is crazy.
I don't know anything about that movie. Is that an old one? Is that like 50s?
Yeah, it's like 50s. And like my sister was in the play for it in our school, so we watched the movie. And the music's great. Right. I really did like it. The plot of the movie is she's like this sharpshooter that's like in some sort of, not a circus, but like just like some show.
Yeah, it's about Annie Oakley.
About Annie Oakley, yeah. And then I can't remember the male counterpart's name, but they both like...
As Buffalo Bill?
It is Buffalo Bill, yeah. So Annie becomes better than Buffalo Bill.
Sure.
But they both kind of like fall in love with like, and he gets jealous. The ending is basically her like going... I just quit. You can be the shooter and we can fall in love. It's amazing. It's just the most like...
It's just 100% pure patriarchy. It's like, this isn't going to work unless I let you win.
It's just one of those things. It's just like no one probably questioned that when that came out. And she's just like, I'm going to quit my dreams. You can do it. I love you too much. It was great. It was crazy. I was like kind of even amazed that they're still doing that play in schools, without like really just changing the ending. You know?
Well, schools will do anything.
Oh, that's true.
Nobody can understand what they're saying. They just get up there to act.
Right.
Okay, here's what Chicago beat.
Okay.
Gangs of New York. Yeah, right? Sorry, Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
The Hours, which was that one where Nicole Kidman had a really big nose.
Yeah.
She was playing Virginia Woolf, I think.
Right.
And The Pianist, which I think is what everybody thought would win.
Okay, yeah.
Because, Holocaust and piano. And then you're right, Two Towers.
Holocaust and piano.
Yeah, I mean, what an unbeatable combination.
That's kind of a slam dunk, yeah.
I mean, you already had what was the one the one about piano? There was a movie, Harvey Keitel in it.
Was that just called The Piano?
I think so.
Okay,
from
the
90s. And
then,
obviously Schindler's List. So like, somebody thought, okay, a Holocaust movie wins, a piano movie wins. Boom, surefire winner, and out of nowhere comes this like jazz chick murder musical.
I've never seen The Pianist or The Hours, but I got through about half of Gangs of New York, and that may have been one of my least favorite Scorsese movies. It's such a slog. I'm sure there's Scorsese movies I wouldn't think of as Scorsese movies that would rank lower. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's made a lot of. Didn't he make one about a train station recently? Like an old man and a young boy in a train station.
Was that Hugo?
Like a kids movie?
Yeah.
You know
Hugo was... It wasn't very entertaining, but like one thing is the best 3D I've ever seen in a movie
Really?
Yeah, it was the only time I was like, this is worth having. And now they don't even have 3D anymore, I don't think.
Now we're done.
Thank God. That's really terrible. Other than Hugo. Hugo's the one time where I was like, this is actually pretty cool.
I'm glad that's that and not Polar Express. Because I was going to like let Polar Express have that crowd.
For sure. No. Or Avatar. Oof.
Oh, I did see Avatar with 3D.
Yeah.
I saw Avatar 3D and I brought my friend, and she was drunk and she fell asleep halfway through the movie, and her glasses kind of slid off of her face. And then she woke up halfway through the movie with no 3D glasses on and stared at Avatar in 3D, kind of like half drunkenly. And then she went back to sleep. And then afterwards, she thought she had the worst nightmare. She had no idea we went to see a movie. She just thought she had the worst nightmare of her life.
Why are we seeing this blurry film?
Why was everybody blue? I think they were people, but I couldn't tell. All right. Well, speaking of nightmares, let's see if we can. Let's see if this one is one. I don't remember if it's any good or not. Chicago. Wait, so if this is Miramax, then this is Weinstein too, huh?
Yeah, he really hedged his bets. Yeah, this has to be him.
Yeah.
Five, 6, 7, 8.
That is a bad match.
Very CGI Chicago.
You can't spell Chicago without CGI.
That's true.
So wait, we've got infidelity. Accusation of infidelity.
It's the infidelity murder ward.
Okay. And then something in Polish, but it didn't matter. It didn't happen. So this whole movie is just her insanity.
Yeah, it's very it's reminiscent of the King of Comedy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Dancer in the Dark.
Oh, who's in that?
Bjork.
Oh, okay.
Some bad news, kid. The tour's been canceled.
So this is just a lesson about not being shitty to people on the way up.
Yeah, it's amazing how
no, don't worry about it.
how quick their fame comes.
Hold it. Hurt the baby.
Baby.
I don't know why I'm surprised he's got pipes. He seems like he would.
He might have the most pipes of anyone.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm wondering. I'm starting to feel like Catherine Zeta-Jones was actually singing.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
But just like bad at lip syncing
Right.
to her own track.
Yeah.
That feeling when you get a 3-minute audition and you only have a solid 5.
Yeah.
Like, my closer! My closer!
The best one's coming up, seriously.
No, guys, it's all building to something.
You know, you're really pretty good.
Okie doke.
Let me use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, okay.
I've got some thoughts.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. Chicago!
Chicago. solid flick.
Yeah.
I think I really enjoyed it.
I was entered.
It really might be too much, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Too much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think...
I didn't get bored.
I wasn't bored.
There was no lull.
No.
I mean, except for one Renee Zellweger number that I thought was like, meh.
It was a little weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I thought that... The direction of the movie I thought was going to go, because that's when we were kind of talking about, it was like, oh, it reminded me of King of Comedy a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's this movie where... I mean, that might be my favorite, like, De Niro performance, because I think he just has, like, the delusion just down so well. And I almost felt like this movie, the way it ended, they were like, they became successful. I almost wish they had played up the delusion of it all a little bit more.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would rather, I mean, I didn't need a happy ending. It was such a cynical movie. There was no like,
right.
Oh, I needed a happy ending. And when they got together, both down on their luck,
yeah,
it would have been interesting to see that not work. It would have been a more artistic movie to see them like maybe getting a gig, but not like a huge one where everybody's clapping and singing, but just like them working their way up. Or something.
Well, for sure. But then it was also like, why are they even like teaming up in the first place? Like she was planning false evidence to get her like in jail like for murder. I mean, like there should be a little more animosity between the two. And obviously, like the film is, fantastical in that sense. But it's
So, quick recap. This won't take long to recap. The plot is pretty straightforward.
Very.
It's 1920s in Chicago. People are drinking booze when they're not supposed to and listening to jazz, which is crazy.
Which they're also probably not supposed to.
That music's from black people.
Exactly.
So, like, there's just a wild atmosphere.
Yeah.
And apparently women are just getting away with murder left and right.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's mostly, men that have wronged them in some way.
It's infidelity.
Yeah.
Not any actual justifiable reason. But there is a bit of a, like, weird Me Too moment.
And there is, yeah.
Where there's like
produced by Harvey Weinstein.
Produced by Harvey Weinstein. We'll get into the feminism in a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the quick recap of the plot is that Catherine Zeta-Jones is a famous burlesque-ish dancer, and she kills her sister and her husband and goes to jail. Renee Zellweger is a nobody, and she kills a lover and goes to jail. And
Officer
there's like
McNulty.
4 more of those in there.
Yeah.
And Officer McNulty from The Wire.
Yeah.
And then
detective.
They all get Richard Gere as a lawyer, and he gets them off.
Yeah. He's a really good lawyer.
He's a really good lawyer in the mold of like Joe Pesci. And My Cousin Vinny. But it's all because of publicity. And the subtext of the movie is that if you're famous, you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's any coincidence that this movie, like, there's definitely a callback to OJ. There was a couple lines in there that were like trial of the century.
Definitely. Yeah.
But the original play written in the 70s, of course, wasn't calling back to that. I don't know what. Basically, the idea that fame gives you a pass in life is the theme of the movie.
For sure. Which I thought that they tackled that pretty well. To the point where it's like... finish the recap, sorry.
I was just going to say, it's the most... No, that's it. She gets off because she gets famous.
Oh, she gets off, and then
they manage her PR well.
Right, and then there's like a weird thing where like Catherine Zeta-Jones is jealous of her, and she plants like this fake evidence. Well, but
it turns
also
out the lawyer did that.
So he gave that to her, or gave that to Queen Latifah.
He ran a runaround on the DA to make the DA look
for sure.
shady.
So at least, but Catherine Zeta-Jones at least attempted. To fuck things up, and then in the end it was all whatever. They became friends again, and now they're successful.
And they get their show of their dreams, and they get to dance on stage
in front of light bulbs.
Which is every little girl's dream.
Absolutely.
So the thing that the movie was most successful at, besides setting aside the artistry of the movie, which I think we can both agree, that was a gorgeous movie. Like some
very much
stunning sequences,
and the parallels, like when it would like show something that was happening, like going back to. I thought it was honestly just a really great way to handle musical numbers
Yes.
for a modern film.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I haven't actually ever seen the stage play. I've just heard the recording, the Broadway recording. I don't know if they managed to pull that off.
It would have been interesting.
It seems like that's just a movie thing where, like, on stage, they'd be in a real situation, they'd go off into a musical number, and you just see the musical number. Here,
Yeah.
they'd intercut.
Right. I'd be
Yeah.
genuinely surprised if the editing didn't win
Yeah.
the Oscar as well, because that I thought was particularly impressive.
Yeah, it was totally on point. And then the thing that the movie does well thematically is it definitely has that cynicism on point about fame in America.
Yeah.
And that part feels more relevant now than ever because
Absolutely.
we basically have a Renee Zellweger as president.
Right, totally.
Full of delusions.
Exactly.
And just chasing public relations every
Yeah, yeah,
chance.
yeah.
That, you know, and like that being the point of being alive.
Trump's got
It's
Richard
scary.
Gere's in his life.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Trump he's the dumb Richard Gere. He's
Right.
Renee Zellweger, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got Richard Gere. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of cringy, but it hits home.
Totally, and I think like it's just aged incredibly well in that sense, because it's
Yeah.
like I'm with you. Didn't want a happy ending like that. I kind of was hoping
It's
for
a little big. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, an ideal ending for me would be that woman that killed the man when she became innocent.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she gets the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like the last scene is both of them, Zeta Jones and Zellweger, like watching that, and then it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or-
just rubbing that point home.
Yeah.
That fame is fleeting.
Right.
The fact that they recaptured fame, even though it's a cynical point, because like there's a great shot in that. The only good thing about the last sequence is they both walk on stage halfway through the number with two fake Tommy guns.
Yeah.
And they cut to like 3 or 4 crowd reactions of like fuckers laughing.
Yeah,
with, like,
yeah.
fucker faces.
Yeah,
With like, oh, that's funny because they're killers. And it's definitely communicated in those shots. Like, look at these fuckers.
Right.
Laughing at this criminal
Yeah.
capitalizing on their crime.
Well, and then like to the last scene in King of Comedy is very similar.
Yeah.
Where he comes out and he's on the Tonight Show finally.
Right.
And the big thing in that movie is like, is that real or is that all in his head?
This was clearly real.
I would say that's probably real, but
Yeah.
that would have been maybe a fun thing to play up of just
Yeah.
like all this shit of her being famous
Yeah.
is completely made up, you know?
Totally.
I don't know. It would have been probably a different movie, so I don't really know how they would have played that.
I
But
don't know,
like,
the movie lived in that space for so long.
It did,
Most
yeah.
of the movie is Renee Zellweger imagining a musical number
Yeah.
that she's starring in.
right,
You know.
because like that one scene at the end with her like auditioning for those people, that's really the most stage time she had gotten the whole movie, technically.
The only stage
It
time
really
she'd
is.
ever gotten
Yeah.
in her whole life.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And also, who wrote that song for her? Because it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, she got a good songwriter.
Right,
on it,
right.
Which is important.
It's true.
All right, so like, there's a lot to like about this movie, and I do think, yeah, maybe it got shit on in 2002. Maybe people really wanted that Piano Holocaust movie to win. But honestly, this movie held up very well, and I don't think it's an embarrassing pick at all. It's one of the best movies I've seen for this podcast.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I love the music. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought all the numbers were really, really good. And
The only song I didn't really like was All That Jazz.
yeah, I'm with
Because
you.
that
Yeah.
song is just the same verse over and over again.
Right.
Sung with more grunting and oomph.
yeah. Just a little more emphasis on jazz with each verse.
Right.
But I particularly like the ventriloquist scene. I thought that
Yes.
song was really good, and I thought that the whole back and forth with them at the press conference and them on stage with all the marionettes, I thought that was incredibly well done.
And super well acted,
Yes.
especially by Renee Zellweger really kills it. And that's the one scene where I'm like, ooh, I could watch her
Yeah.
do that. Usually she was getting upstaged by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
For
Catherine
sure.
Zeta-Jones
She was very good.
murders in this
Did
movie.
anyone win acting awards?
I don't think anybody won an acting award. Queen Latifah got a Best Supporting
She was
Actress
very good.
nomination. She was fun. She had a
Yeah.
really good number.
Yeah.
In this, and she was like really weirdly grounded for a character that was kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
This like warden who would just show favoritism left and right and not lose her job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's Chicago, baby.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going right. let's dig into what didn't.
I think
there's some sloppy here.
Right, and it's mostly just plot stuff,
Okay.
which is like, how much can you really complain about that? I don't think that was the emphasis of the film. It's the plot is kind of,
It's supposed to be a whirlwind, I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of crazy, and the songs are really supposed to drive a lot of the action in the movie.
Yeah.
And all the songs were great, so it's like it's hard to shit on it there. But like, there's just to me with them at the end becoming like so buddy, that made just no sense to me.
Right.
The fact that there was no, real negative consequences to a lot of the lies that people said in the movie, and it was all just kind of wrapped up because Richard Gere's a great lawyer. Like that was all it was.
Well, I can see how it would get her off in court. But as soon as she gets out of court,
right? The baby
isn't
thing,
pregnant, is still divorced.
Nothing. Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like, I guess that's theoretically conceivable because I guess she starts flying under the radar and nobody's paying attention.
For
right?
sure,
You
right.
know?
And all that matters is kind of like
what's in the papers.
Exactly. So it does work in that sense.
I don't know. Here's the theme that I think didn't work. So the fame theme worked. The thing that doesn't hold up is, I remember at the time when I saw this movie, it was kind of a big deal because it was an extremely female-centered movie.
Yeah.
Which was still more rare, and this was in a time of kind of you go girl feminism that's only started to fade out in the last 3 years. Of like,
right.
Oh, sweet. So I think there was a bit of like juice behind it just for the fact that the most famous number, the one that keeps getting referenced now, is the He Deserved It. Mm-hmm. They All Deserved It number. They had it coming, that's it. In which all the women just basically shoot
right.
men.
Yeah.
And mostly for infidelity.
Yes.
But still the point was there was a women's empowerment kind of thing tied up in this that was supposed to help you root for them even though they were all cold-blooded killers, and it does work.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to go on this journey of women taking back their power in America, and oh my God, fame is a horrible, corrupting thing. And at the time, I think those both floated along pretty well. Mm-hmm. Now I'm looking at that, and I'm like, the feminism in this movie is fucked up.
Yeah.
First of all, there's a huge underwear fetish going on in this movie.
Big time. Yeah.
There's so much underwear in this movie. It is a lingerie menagerie.
And one of my favorite moments is Richard Gere's introduction. He also gets an underwear shot and then ends his song by ripping off his boxers. They're not ripped. He just pulls them off and they're completely intact, lifts them in the air, and then it cuts to the next scene.
Somehow he slides them through his butt crack.
Loved that.
Into the air, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I loved that. But there is a lot of underwear in this movie, for sure.
Yeah, and also Renee Zellweger's lover at the beginning. Like, everybody's half naked in this movie.
Definitely.
So many pantyhose.
Mm-hmm.
So much fishnet.
Yep.
And then the dancing, you can't get away from Bob Fosse. Yes, it's amazing. It was incredible to watch. It was super entertaining. But it's also basically using the female form as a special effect constantly.
Yeah.
And so even though it's a female-centered film, it passes the Bechdel test with flying colors, mm-hmm. and the women all have pretty rich backstories and motivations and stuff like that for a pretty shallow musical.
Yeah.
I still felt a little bit of weirdness.
Directed by a man, written by a man.
Produced by Harvey Weinstein.
There you go.
Let's not forget.
Yeah.
That the only way out of their lives for these women is to sell their bodies or kill men, and the best way out is to do both.
Yeah.
Now, there might be something real about that I just don't want to deal with.
Well, yes and no. I think there's a way to acknowledge that that's real while critiquing it.
Yeah. Versus
kind of showing this and like in that you go girl fashion. You know what I mean? Like without really... I don't think that there was like an analysis of why this is fucked up as much as it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So it's like it just kind of is, and you better not cheat on us, or we're gonna put 6 rounds into you. You know?
It's interesting that it's always around infidelity.
Yes.
Because if we were to, if you were to make that movie in 2018, rewrite it from scratch, the women's motivations, they'd have... There's so many things from the news of, like, things men could do to women that would be propped up as justified for homicide, and it would be much more varied, let's say, than infidelity against moi.
Well, right. Yeah.
And so that part felt a little creaky and old-fashioned, and also sort of counterproductive.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of misogyny peeking through here about women being crazy. Bitches be crazy is kind of there.
Bitches be crazy is there.
Yeah.
And it's, I think you hit it with just like, the worst thing you can do to a woman is cheat on them.
Right. Right. And then then Renee Zellweger's character cheats on her husband.
Right.
And is in that group. So it's not like a perfectly clean thing.
No, yeah.
But that's definitely infidelity is over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The most horrific crime in a woman's life that leads to homicide.
And also there was the infidelity of McNulty. Like, she was upset that he had a family, too. So there was that dishonesty that she felt like it made it more justified that she murdered this man in cold blood. Yeah.
Weirdly, I'm having a hard time pinning it down. I really want to read or listen to feminist critique of Chicago now, because there's something there I just can't quite unpack between the nakedness and the bodies flying everywhere and the portrayal of women as murderous, fame crazed, insane creatures.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all they get. Except for the poor, innocent Polish woman.
Right. Yeah, well, that I thought was the best. Maybe not my favorite scene, but maybe the most well done scene of just the her hanging with everyone clapping. I thought that was just so well done.
There were two moments of pathos that I thought were great. That one, and then John C. Reilly's number,
which
I totally forgot about. In which he complains that he's invisible because Renee Zellweger, he plays her husband, and she's basically used him.
Yeah.
And is ignoring him, and he has a great number that comes out of that.
Yeah.
Shows the two people in this movie who aren't fame hungry.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting murdered.
Right.
Themselves. This is a dark movie.
Yeah.
For all that jazz.
Yeah, exactly. I always it's always strange to me to see female centric stories like this. I felt the same way about I, Tonya being directed and written by men.
Yeah.
Because it's I just don't think, just as straight up as a movie fan, I don't think you're giving the story the justice it deserves. You know what I mean? It's just I don't think you're giving it the perspective that it needs, right?
And not that it's not a capability thing, but it's definitely, there's oversights that become... I agree with I, Tonya. There was something about... I know everybody's praising that movie, and probably most of you love that movie. I didn't like it for two reasons. One, I still think... I hate Tonya Harding.
Right.
I was Team Nancy Kerrigan in 1992, and I'm not changing now.
But how fun would a Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan movie have been?
Yeah.
Just show the two of them... And then, because I honestly, no one gives a shit about Tonya Harding other than that thing.
Are you saying that they should team up and do a Broadway show?
I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. A lot of light bulbs.
With a lot of some fake baseball bats?
Yeah.
And then the whole audience goes, they're referencing that horrible crime. But yeah, there was something in I, Tonya that felt... I don't know, a little off to me in terms of the mean-spiritedness of the two main characters, Tonya and her mom.
Yeah.
That may be very true to life, I don't know, but I think it was elevated to the point where it just got... I have a instinctive something when I see women portrayed as too crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying women can't be crazy.
Right. The problem I had with I, Tonya was and it's similar to this movie in that sense where it's so much of it is the media's portrayal of a figure. So the reason you feel however you feel about Tonya Harding is because of the 24 news, 24-hour news cycle. And so that was Bobby Cannavale's character in the movie where they would cut to him. He's we got to get a story for the magazine. It's make him a more central figure. And also if you had a woman telling that story, would have more of an understanding of the maybe discrepancy in how things truly went and how the media is expected to cover women in news.
Yeah, I think that's...
And I think kind of the same thing with this movie.
That's the one aspect of the interior life that's missing. Is like, all you get about both Zeta-Jones and Zellweger's characters is that they desperately want to be famous.
Yeah.
And there's some hints with Zellweger that she's just a good time party girl.
Right.
And that would fuel that life for her. But like, is that it? Like, how does she feel about the gaze of the audience watching her in her underwear? Slinking around. Like, what does that speak to her? Where does that come from? What's that inner sort of, I don't know, motivation? And I mean, I'm not expecting every movie to delve into that, and I don't think Chicago is a lesser movie for not going there, but when it's not there, you get left with this, well, you could read this as bitches be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
There's not for any of the characters is there any hint as to why they want to be famous.
Right.
That's probably the most chilling part of it. And is that maybe that's a point of it? This movie's fascinating because I want to give it so much credit for some reason.
Right,
More than I thought I was going to.
It's just so well done, you know? I mean, all the sequences, from a just production standpoint, I thought the plot was a little thin in parts, but it's just like, wasn't even really the point. The point was just kind of...
I mean, for a musical, this is tackling a lot.
It is, yeah.
It's not just telling a story with a lot of emotion. It's literally covering a ton of grounds thematically. And back on the fame thing, I think it's that maybe that's the point, is that nobody stops and thinks about why they want to be famous. Like, what would you really get from it? And isn't it better if it gets taken away? Like, let someone else have that spotlight of being a murderer?
You almost feel like John C. Reilly could have been that perspective, just some like random auto guy or whatever, you know, like just
kind of, but he was so unhappy.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, just miserable.
Yeah,
and Richard Gere's the winner, right? He's the one.
I thought he was great, yeah.
Who gets to be famous and...
Oh, you're saying the character. Yeah, well,
he wins the game.
For sure.
Every time.
Yeah.
And he's portrayed as a straight up sleazebag.
Totally.
I'm not saying that the movie's holding him up as a paragon or anything. I don't know. Yeah, there's something there that I think is really important for the like kind of Twitter era. It's like we're all chasing that.
Oh, totally. And I would have loved to see like, you know, I would have loved to see what the response on both the right and left of this movie was at the time. And we probably weren't even having discussions like that just because social media didn't really exist.
I think, well, this was only 1 year off 9/11.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a right and a left. I think there was go to Iraq or not go to Iraq.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that was politics that year.
Which is, I mean, it's fascinating because think about how, like, for lack of a better word, loaded this movie would have been coming out today.
Oh,
you know
God,
what I mean?
so much better. I mean, if it won the Academy Award in 2002, it would have... This is the movie we needed instead of La La Land. Now, I haven't seen Moonlight yet. I'm not denigrating Moonlight. I'm just saying, like, La La Land was a dumbass musical.
Right.
That belonged in 2002.
Yeah.
This movie is speaking to what the hell's going on right now.
Yeah, this is like... I mean, I don't know if this movie could be... I honestly think this movie could potentially be remade one day.
Well, I mean, it's already a play from the 20s that was remade as a musical in the 70s that's been remade as a movie in 2000s. So it seems like every 30, 40 years it gets...
We'll get it again. Yeah.
We'll see this one again.
Yeah, for
Don't
sure.
worry. As long as you can hold out and eat your vegetables.
Exactly.
We'll get to see this movie again.
I mean, God knows how many King Kongs there have been, you know?
That's true.
Let's get as many Chicagos as there are King Kongs, all right?
Oh my God, is there anything we didn't cover about the movie? Cover the underwear fetish.
What else did Rob Marshall direct after this? Because I know Bill Condon wrote it.
Yeah.
And he made Mean Girls, he made the new Beauty and the Beast. He's probably had more of a successful career than the director has, but they've both made pretty similar films.
I thought it was funny you pointed out at one point that John C. Reilly was the one person who came out of this movie with the best career.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, either John C. Reilly or honestly probably Queen Latifah too.
And Queen Latifah. Yeah, you're right. It was the two, and they were both super strong.
Because it's like
actors in this. Yeah, the two supporting actors. Richard Gere's dropped off the face of the earth, more or less.
Oh, okay. Rob Marshall.
Catherine Zeta-Jones essentially retired, and Renee Zellweger. Well, the less we say, the better.
It's right. It's weird how those three have just not been.
And they were all huge.
Massive, and none of them are part of any cultural conversation in 2018.
No. And of the three, I miss Catherine Zeta-Jones the most, because she's like weirdly watchable.
Yeah.
Like true movie star. Renee Zellweger, I never really...
I thought she was good in this movie, but I think I'm with you. There's not a whole lot.
Aside from the Nurse Betty.
What was Nurse Betty?
Nurse Betty was her and Morgan Freeman and Chris Rock.
What?
Greg Kinnear.
What is this movie?
And she plays another crazy person. It's good.
Okay.
You should go see Nurse
I'll check
Betty.
it out.
That's probably the one performance of hers that sticks out for me.
Yeah.
I was never a huge Bridget Jones fan.
Shark Tale.
Well, that's always got a place in my heart.
Right. That goes. You don't need to mention Shark Tale. All right, that's a unspoken classic.
Look, yeah, we're talking about regular movies, not masterpieces.
Right, exactly. So
Rob Marshall. What else did he do?
Rob Marshall did Memoirs of a Gay Show.
Okay.
And then he did 9. That was like another musical. I never really saw it.
Wait, which 9?
Oh, no. So there was the
Not
animated
the
9.
Animated 9.
They came out the same year, I think.
Oh, that's too bad.
So it was like that, the one with the weird puppets.
That I liked.
9. I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then 9 was a Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
What?
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis was in a...
Look at that cast. Is that cast not crazy?
Holy cow. Fergie?
Yeah. Sophia Loren. Yeah. What
the hell was that about?
I remember they really wanted this. This was like Oscar season. They were trying to make it a thing. It might have been like another kind of like show business deal, but I don't really know.
Was that a remake of...
It says this holiday... oh, wait.
No, go ahead. Read it, the thing.
Because it might be... Are you saying 8.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tagline is, this holiday season, be Italian. That sucks.
That's an interesting sell.
Yeah.
I guess. I think for some people that's already, mission
right.
accomplished.
They got it done.
I am Italian.
And then he did Into the Woods. He's doing that Mary Poppins movie that's about to come out with, I think, Lin-Manuel Miranda and Emily Blunt.
There's a Mary Poppins remake coming out?
Mary Poppins Returns.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
You don't think Lin-Manuel Miranda is the modern day Dick Van Dyke?
Oh, he's not writing the music. He's gonna actually.
Well, he might be writing the music, but he is, the chimney sweep.
He's gonna act in it.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
He was good in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm trying not to be one of those people who judges a movie based on its like trailer or casting announcements anymore, because I've got better things to do with my time.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that one there was a gut reaction there, like, can anything be left alone?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the answer is no, it can't.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
No, if this does well, we're going to get bed knobs and broomsticks too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one.
Right.
Catherine Zeta-Jones will be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything coming up you want to plug, Danny, that's coming in August?
In August.
Or podcast or...
Oh, yeah, I guess
Tell
Gross
the people
Lonely
what's
Boys.
going on. Yeah, Gross Lonely Boys.
We'd love to have you on Gross Lonely Boys, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
What do you do on Gross Lonely Boys for our audience?
It is it's real loose. It's not this formatted.
That was the best pitch I've heard since This Christmas Be Italian.
This Christmas Be Italian. But yeah, we just do prank calls. We sort of dick around. It's not a live podcast, but I guess this would be the one thing to plug in terms of a show.
Okay.
We're doing a Gross Lonely Boys stand-up show at Secret Group on August 31st.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. If you're in Houston, go to Secret Group as much as you can anyway.
Yeah. I just went there for the first time the other day.
August 31st or July 31st?
August 31st.
August, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, August 31st, Secret. It's awesome, isn't it?
It really is. it's incredible what they're doing
Yeah.
there. Honestly, I had heard good things, and then just being there and experiencing it, it was.
That's right.
It knocked me out.
Yeah, I agree. I don't usually give big ups to comedy outside of Austin, but that is a cool venue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I don't know what we're going to do next week, but if you show up and listen, you will too. You will too. I don't know why I have a podcast.
This is fun.
I really can't string sentences together. Like us on iTunes or wherever you found us. Tell a friend. Share our things on the evil social medias right before you quit and close your account forever. Thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye.